Dave Cyderbaby. This is for Rock Radio UK. Today I am speaking to the legend that is Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. You're looking very well. You're looking very relaxed. I mean, you are living a life.
Yeah, I'm at home right now. We have a little break from being out on tour, and I just went last night. Actually, the past two nights went out on the town. Usually, I stay home with my wife and the kids, but had some friends in town and playing some shows, and went and sat in. Last night was Bonamassa playing at the Ryman, and so I went and played a couple songs. Well, played a song with him, and the
Yeah.
night before, some of my other guitar friends in the Nashville area. And so, yeah, man, it's like just I don't have much to complain about. We got two new records out, or one the second one is coming out, and the tour is going great. We went on a family vacation over the summer on a holiday to Italy, and so just so much to be grateful for, really.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, family life seems quite essential to you. I mean,
Yeah, that's number one. So it's like, I have a commitment to my fans and to my family, right? So
mm,
as I started a family, it was like trying to figure out how do I balance those two commitments and not neglect one or the other. And so that's been the goal from day one, when I got married, and I think we're doing a pretty decent job of it.
okay, cool. Um, we're here to talk about music, obviously. Dirt on My Diamonds, Volume 2 is due out 20th of September. I mean, what an album. I've been lucky enough to listen to it, and I don't know how you've kept a lid on this. I mean, this is quite astounding stuff, so.
I appreciate it. It's always nice to get it out there and kind of see what people's reaction is, and people like yourself, who listen to a lot of music and hope know good music when you hear it. It's like I believe it's good, obviously,
Mm,
but I'm very close to it, and but it's nice to put it out there and kind of see the general population's reaction to it, and it's been pretty positive so far, and so I'm really happy to have it out there.
Volume 1 came out, if memory serves, November last year.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind splitting the two albums up like that?
Well, I always envision them as as two albums, right?
Mm,
But I just started thinking about, just trying to do some things differently, like what can we do different this time that we haven't done before? And because most of these songs were written all kind of out of the same writing session, which is
mm,
not uncommon that we always write a bunch of songs. Anytime I'm going to make a record, we'll always write more songs than necessary for that album. And then
yeah.
inevitably, the songs that don't go on that record find their way onto other albums in the future. So that's not uncommon. But I just started going, there could be a link here between these two records, and a volume one, volume two is not something we've ever done before, and it keeps the fans engaged. It's the first time we've ever put two albums out in less than 12 months
Mm.
time, and it keeps us out on the road. It keeps us, with new, fresh material to play in the show. So to me, it just seemed like a win-win situation. And so because they were written around the same time, recorded around the same time, they could have this kind of connection between the two.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting slightly different vibes. I mean, where the first volume is more soulful, funkier even. The second is more rockier, harder edge. Was that purposely done or just
Well, I
for?
just think what happens is when you have a collection of songs, first of all, you have to start looking at like which songs create a complete body of work, right? And so
Mm,
that also determines which songs might go on a record and which ones don't. And then, what is the overall vibe? I mean, I've always written and recorded the music that I felt inspired to write and record, whatever that might be.
yeah.
And just in these two situations, yes, like one has a slightly more of a rock personality, and one might have a little more of, some funk R&B stuff mixed in there as well. But the blues is obviously ever
Mm,
present in all of it.
yeah. You've come up through the ranks of the blues players. Uh, you're still quite a young chap, and you seem to be around for a while. And I- it's quite amazing. You started quite young as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing on stage at 13, and did my first demos at age 14, and put my band together and started performing under my own name at 15, and signed a record deal at 16.
Wow.
And so yeah, it all happened really early for me, and thankfully it's we're going on 30 years now of a professional recording career, and the fans continue to support us. They continue to show up. The shows are always packed, and what's cool is like I take a survey a lot of times from the stage where I'm like, how many of you guys have seen us before or saw us last time we came to town? And about half the room raises their hand, and then I'm like, now how many of you people are seeing us for the very first time? And about that's the other half of the room.
Yeah.
And so we're still reaching new people when we're playing concerts on a daily basis, even 30 years into a career. It's not, we're not just preaching to the choir. You know, we love the people that have been there with us for the whole 30-year experience, but we also really appreciate the people that are still discovering our music for the very first time.
Okay. So back to the new album then. Dirt on My Diamonds. I mean, I'm picking tracks here just out of the Long Way Down. It's got to be
Yeah.
one of my favorite tracks on the album. Just tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's just a straight ahead rock song. It's really interesting too, because we put it out the other day,
Mm.
and then I saw some person commented like, and they said, it sounds country to me. I'm out. And I'm like, this is a rock. I mean, it's a hard rock song, you know?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't even know where you hear country in that at all. But other than country music nowadays just wants to be rock music, you know?
I get
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah, so maybe, but I think he's got it backwards, you know, is that you're actually hearing a rock song and you hear country people trying to be rock musicians. But
Mm.
anyways, it's a straight ahead rocker, and you know, it's Noah singing the lead vocals on that one, and his voice sounds killer. And you know, it's just it's kind of like one of those things. It's a social observation of what's going on, but it's also the, you know, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, you know, don't allow yourself to like be defeated message, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the track before it, My Guitar Is Crying, obviously is such a cool track as well.
Yeah, you know, I try to have a tender moment on each record, and that's that one for this
Mm.
album. I like the writing in that song. I think the writing is really clever, and it speaks to personal experience for me as well. It's not just purely hypothetical, but you know, the guitar has always kind of been there for me in my moments of struggle, and you know, that speaks to that.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to pick a couple of tracks or a track to somebody who's never heard of you before, somebody on the universe probably hasn't heard of you somewhere. But if you were to pick a track, say off this album, which one would you pick? Say, just go and listen to this one and see what you think.
Oh, that's hard. So off volume two,
Yeah, off volume two for
I
now.
don't know because I have some favorites like and they'll change over time, but I mean the opening track, I Got a Woman, I really love that song. It's a driving song. It doesn't
Mm.
sound like ZZ Top, but the spirit of the song reminds me of a ZZ Top song. It's just
Yeah.
driving, it's got a bluesy thing, it's got a killer groove, you know. Not too complicated with the lyrics. That one's awesome. I've never made it to Memphis. Really catches, you know, in your head. Like you hear that song and you end up singing it for the rest of the day. Long Way Down's killer. But there's one that's the next one that we're going to be putting out called The Middle, which is
Right.
I think musically, it's a really great piece of music
Mm.
from guitar parts, the rhythm tracks, what the bass and drums are doing, the horn section. I mean, the whole thing, the complete package, I think. Plus, it's a killer, infectious groove. So I really like that one too. And it kind of speaks, not intentionally at the time. We didn't, you know, we wrote it, we didn't realize, but it very much speaks to the state of the world today, you know.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's not get too political today.
Oh, I don't get into politics at all. That's just very much I believe in I'm an entertainer, not a politician, so I don't infuse politics. What if anything might seem like that, it's really just like standing in the midst of all the things and just kind of taking a look at what's going on. It's not preaching about one position or the other ever.
Yeah. I've got to ask, have you got a fetish for cars? I mean,
I
don't know.
do.
Yeah,
I
go
have
on
an
then.
addiction to cars, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. What are your favorites?
Well, that's like you know, who's your favorite child out of all your children, right? So
I hate them all equally, my children anyway, so it's fine.
yeah, no, I don't know, man. I love, I mean, you know, I grew up around, you know, I'm a product of the 70s. And so when I grew up, you know, you would see those 60s, late 60s American, early 70s American muscle cars. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
And So I love the American muscle cars, but I also love exotic cars. I mean, anything that basically looks good and hauls ass is like I'm all for it. And you know, but I my specialty is like the Mopar world, which is Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth. Those are the cars that I know the most about. It's my comfortable, it's my wheelhouse, if you will.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for Chargers, I've got to say.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the most beautiful, especially the 69, 68, 69, 70 Charger body style is one of the
yeah,
most iconic and beautiful. I mean, the car looks like it's going 100 miles an hour sitting still. It's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I was never a fan of Mustangs. I don't know why.
Well, I historically haven't been because the pony car is different than the muscle car, even though the
Mm,
Mustang is thrown into the muscle car conversation. But you know, they're doing some really exciting things with the new Mustangs, like the old Shelby ones, like Chris Layton, my drummer from Double
yeah.
Trouble. He's got a Shelby GT350, a 67 Mustang Shelby, and it's
Okay.
amazing. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, they didn't connect with me in the way that like they have with Mustang guys, but they have some really cool new Mustangs that are doing some pretty impressive things.
Okay. Okay. So, Don't My Diamonds has got to be an ode to cars, really, isn't it? So,
Well, it's an ode to everything. It's like, yes, on the cover, on the first
mm,
volume, you see the diamond in the rough. It's actually
mm,
one of my project cars. It's a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda convertible that we
okay.
are restoring and customizing. And so you kind of see this dilapidated like hulk of metal, you know, that looks kind of like worn out. And but what I see when I look at that is I see all the potential in it, and I
Yeah.
can actually envision, you know, its full potential in the end result. And then you kind of see that in this in volume two, you see the rendering of what it's going to look like when it's done. And it's not just in cars, but it's in everything. It's in all of us, really. It's like embracing our flaws and realizing that those are opportunities for us to grow and become better people and eventually to reach our full potential.
Okay. Um, shall we move on to touring? I mean, what have you got lined up?
Oh, well, so we were just talking about Europe yesterday, so we're coming
Yeah.
there next year. So they're working on confirming dates. Um, but yeah, in the States, I mean, we took a lot of the summer off, which is not
Mm,
typical. That's June, July, August are prime touring season here in I think, well, it's around the world, but
yeah.
yeah, so we did a family holiday. So I've been kind of slow this summer. I have like a week's worth of shows in the beginning of September, and then we begin the Experience Hendrix tour, which has never come to Europe, but we've talked
Okay.
about bringing it over there. But it's an amazing lineup, all killer guitar players paying tribute to the greatest guitar player of all time. And basically, I'm doing that, and then I'm doing a blues cruise at the end of October, and then we're done for the year. But we're going to start, you know, early in 2025, probably kick off the tour in January, and we'll be full steam ahead.
Excellent. Something to look forward to then. Anyway, not going to hold you up too much longer. I mean, you are a busy man. Definitely My Diamonds Volume 2 is out on the 20th of September. One reason why everybody should buy it.
Because it's good music, you know. I mean, if you're a fan of good music, real music played by real musicians, right? And but especially if you like guitar playing, um, you know, I can't see a lot. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I can't really see a lot of reasons why you wouldn't at least like it a little bit.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you.